Good morning, gardening friends. Today is Friday, January 20th, 2023, and it's going to be the last of the sunny days for a while, so I thought I would go ahead and show y'all what's happening in the backyard. Spring is definitely coming. Here you can see my cyclamen still doing well. Pitcher plant I brought out, brought it in to protect it from the cold and then brought it out again. I did notice a couple of my pitchers were turning brown, so I looked it up online and it did say to go ahead and cut the pitchers off, but if they were brown totally, but go ahead and leave the live ones. So that's what I did, and just happened to notice a friendly little visitor today. Apparently he's too big for the for the pitcher. Little stink bug. Species Amaryllis doing really well. These are the hyacinths that I dug up from the circular garden in the backyard here. They're the ones that are blooming down inside the stalks. And they've been dug up twice. I put them here, sprinkled a little insecticide on it, and the raccoon came and dug half of them out, I guess, till it got a nasty taste of insecticide. It's a shame he didn't eat any of the hyacinths, because they are poisonous. And that would be terrible if you were to eat them and become sick. But I digress. You can see the Johnny jump-ups are doing nicely still. I turned my fountains on today. I don't know if you can tell, I did trim down the roses again, pruned them back. And since we've had the cold right around Christmas, they are just absolutely full of the promise of new buds. You can see all the little maroon buds taking place. By the way, you can also see oxalis. I have been trying to get rid of that oxalis for years. When I bought my house 30 years ago, there was a little bitty patch of oxalis right here. And that stuff has spread throughout my entire backyard. There's actually a corm underground, and how it spreads, I don't know. It comes up in the grass. It has moved from the deck to the far, far reaches of the backyard. So whatever you do, don't get oxalis if you garden in zones 8B or above. There's my pelargonium. It's fixing to bloom again. Of course, I did bring that in. And here's the promise of some new growth on the hosta. It's the only place I can grow hosta is in this pot, or in pots in general, because of slugs. Slugs will eat the hosta down to the ground. I did notice in this chalice plant that it has a fruit. It's the first time in ages that I've had a fruit. That is actually a vine. It's not a rare vine, but it's... what's the right way to say it? Yeah, it's not a rare vine, but it's just hard to find. No one sells it. It blooms in the fall, so I can't wait till it has fruit. I've kept that in a small pot, basically bonsaiing it, and I have a cutting from it that's in my front porch. Chrysanthemums are coming back. The cold didn't bother them at all. I was pleasantly surprised this morning by this snowdrop. It's the first of my snowdrops. That's my little patch of leucojums. I do love them. They will naturalize here, but they take their sweet time. Those have been in that spot for, I don't know, 7 to 10 years. I did buy some more last year and planted them around there. We had some activity here yesterday. Of course, there's still construction at the street. You'll hear that in the background. Pay no attention to it. It'll go away in a year. But you can see where we cut the kefir pears back. We pollarded them. I don't recommend doing it to pear trees because they really don't like pollarding. But I did it because I want them to be kept small or short. And so we pollarded this one as well as that one. That one looks a little better. It had a tangle of trunks, and we thinned them out to make it actually healthier. You could see in this particular one, when I pruned it back many years ago, I made the mistake of leaving a level cut. Most of these cuts you see here are at angles. Well, they all are at angles. Some a little shallower than others. But it's better to cut them at an angle. If it's a flat cut, water will pool there, and that's what had happened. It actually formed a bowl of rot. And so we had to take the branch way back to here. They'll recover. They're not going to fruit for this year, but they will recover. It's beautifully sunny here today. You can see the unknown red camellias are blooming. I did try looking that particular camellia up, and I looked on the internet for a couple of hours with no success. I remember them being, the name was like a Mrs. something or other, and I could not find anything with that or like that. These are the hyacinths they just planted, the pink ones. They haven't really done anything. I'm not expecting them to do anything yet. I just planted them. Grass is starting to come up. You don't really notice it here because this one was just seeded last week. It would be not yesterday, but the Thursday before was when this grass was seeded. This section back here was seeded about 3 weeks ago. And we haven't had a lot of rain, but you can see that it is starting to come up. I'll probably reseed the patch where I walk. I'm trying to walk in the area next to the flower beds where there's no grass there. But it is coming back, or it's growing, I should say, which is nice. So it'll look nice and green for a while, till the heat of the summer kicks in. I did notice back here, not spectacular, but nonetheless, my forsythia is starting to bloom. And I have to admit it's not spectacular because I did a lot of pruning to the bush. I would like that bush eventually to be probably twice its height and fill that gap in. When I first bought this property, it had a hedge of these hollies, and they ran all along this wall, and I saved only 2, and that was 30 years ago, and they were cut down to the ground once when this fence was put in. But I wanted to grow other things here. This is a sunny spot in the backyard. It's a full southern exposure. There you can see the yellow jasmine is looking really nice today. I think this year, I cut it back last year. I think this year I'm just going to let it go. It wants to go to the top of this fence and then run along the top. And I think this year I'm just going to let it cover the whole top of the fence. It's futile to try to keep it on these trellises because it's never really going to take there. It's too shady. But yeah, other than that, there's not really anything else happening back here, but spring is on its way. There you can see the look through my bathing Venus now that the Satsuma has lifted, and you I like looking into an area that's sort of well kept, so you kind of are drawn into that area. And here I haven't done an awful lot. I've tried to stay off the grass, but I'm going to start again cleaning up some of this. See, the birds are out today. The birds have come back. I've got my robins back again. Fountains, of course, are on. Gives a nice noise here if there wasn't a lot of construction. I am looking forward to them completing this. When I bought my house 30 years ago, the realtor had warned me. He said someday they're going to widen that street, and so you may lose some of your property. And so I put this fence up. It's 2 feet within my property, and we'll see what happens. After 30 years of angst, it'll be nice to know once when the sidewalks go in. And then I can actually put something of value out at the street. I've just put leftovers there because I figure they might be dug up someday. Well, the someday is now. Oh, I did want to show you this other camellia. I believe this one is called Peppermint stick. If that's not it, I'll correct it in the little write-up. It really should be white. It's a little pinkish there. It did lose a lot of its buds from the cold, the frost that hit it. I think there's a better example down at this side. It's peppermint something. That's more like it. That's what it should look like. It should be a little bigger, but it lost all the buds at the top. And that is one where I bought those from a reputable company. And I don't think it was their fault, but I had another one planted here where the statue is. And apparently these must be sports of another camellia. And you can see back here, it's reverted to, or it has a sport of just solid red as opposed to the white and red that it's supposed to be. And that middle one was all red like that, even though it had the same name on it. So I got rid of it because I have enough reds in the backyard. And what I will do is actually pull a Queen of Hearts on this one. I will cut that branch off because that branch may have reverted to the original coloration. So, and I do want the flaked or peppermint color back here. So there you have it for the day. A quick walk around and showing you the progress. Like I say, the pear trees have been cut and the grass is coming up. And this grass, by the way, does grow in shade, as you can tell. The heat of the summer is what's going to kill it. It's just winter rye. Okay, have a good one. Till next time.